It is time to acknowledge your lead and turn it into gold. Welcome to Alchemy 101 on the Artist First Radio Network. All past shows are archived. You can find them anytime at artistfirst.com. Here he is, your host, Halo Marquis.
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight? Thank you so much. It's great to be here and not quite back yet at all, guys. So tonight we are going to be talking about traveling to this other amazing dimension called Beloved. And I say dimension in the purely metaphorical sense here, as in this is a type of place where once you arrive, the regular, I guess, rules, laws, regulations, just our typical societal norm is non-existent really in this place. It's absolutely incredible. So tonight, there and back again, a trip to another dimension, Beloved 2018. Last year was my first year ever attending something like this. And I was absolutely blown away. So before I start getting into all the details of it, if you are with me tonight on Artists First Radio, thank you so much for joining us. Alchemy 101 is a show essentially just to give you a different perspective and give this crazy old wizard an excuse to talk to you guys every Thursday night about just incredible things that I've experienced in my life that the average person I guess would consider to be a negative or difficulty, that just with the right perspective, really learning how to transform these burdens, these problems, this lead that we have into, virtual gold, something of value. And this last week, being honest, I still feel like I'm there. So tonight, if you're joining me online on YouTube, you'll see this magical background that I have in lieu of still really being there. And this show is really coming to you guys from this other place. I'm telling you, you have to see something like this. So with that being said, tonight, welcome to the show, guys. So Beloved is tucked away in this very hidden, remote, woodly area in Oregon, in a couple hours away from Portland. Now, the drive out there, first of all, if you guys have never been in Oregon, is off of every postcard, every movie of anything magical, mythical. This is where they film these things. It has to be. The type of green that is there, right, is very, very different than how the green is in, say, the Midwest, or the somewhat versions of green that you get in other parts of the country. It's very emerald and very, I don't know, you feel immediately connected with this enchanted forest is really what it is. So as you're driving up, right, before you know it, you're very, very far away. Bear, how you guys doing? Alex, welcome tonight, guys. Thank you for joining. So what you see along this drive is less and less and less of what we consider, development. You get housing still, but they're very quaint and they look like they're blended in with the farmland or with the woodland. It looks very symbiotic, which is important. Okay, and I'll get to this. So once you finally drive out to the location, you actually drive right past this incline of a hill that you would not know was there. So when I say it's hidden, guys, I mean it is hidden. And you get to the turnoff area of where it says that you should be, and immediately you're greeted by people that look very similar to me. Okay, now if you're out there on Radioland, you must understand that I am in festival gear and garb with face paint and feathers in my hair and a quite majestic, sparkly robe of sorts. Sparkle is probably the wrong word, but it's quite the attire. And when you pull up, almost every single person that's there, and I'm talking, probably 30 or 40 people just to help you get checked in. Now, let me explain this, guys. When you're out and about in your regular 9 to 5 and you come across a person that's doing their job, it's rare that you come across someone that is smiling, right? And I mean an entire smile with their entire body, right? It's rare that you get the acknowledgement, even that you're another person, right? And it's very much through the motions, and this is how it works. Hello, babe. And so the difference here, and again, guys, this isn't even at this location yet. This is on the way to. Okay. Now, I'm going to explain this part, and I'm going to backtrack a couple parts on the way to. But I need you guys to understand this, to understand the caliber of the people, of the humans, the real humanity version of our people. It's incredible. So each of these people that you see are in, I guess, what other people would call costume, right? What I would call is who they really are. And what I like to wear on my show and what I like to do where I go, this is who I am, okay? And I think it's very entertaining because some people, it pushes their buttons. And it's very interesting to see that just authenticity, uniqueness is typically pretty shunned. But you get to this place and it's the exact opposite, right? So you see a multitude of face paint, of jewelry, of makeup, of color, of dresses, of capes, of gowns, of wizardly robes, I'm telling you, everything you could possibly think of, you see these people in. Now, the thing is, these people are there working, right? Now, these people are outside in the heat doing physical work, but they have the most brilliant light about their being and about their face. And the welcome for you to be there is, real's not the right word. It's expected, it's gracious, it's damn near divine. It really is, the way that they just treat you. And so you get all the way through, you get checked in, you get your cool little wristbands, right? I had mine on last year for 9 months, and then I tightened it, almost cut my arm off. So hopefully this one stands the time. We'll see. But beautiful little things. So guys, even on the bands, right, you have spirit and you have soul. Now, maybe that's just an extra little thing. Oh, on the green screen, that actually looks pretty cool. But every bit of this place has a small, extra, intricate touch for no apparent reason other than just because. It will make you smile. It will make you feel like you're in a magical place. It will make you feel touched in ways that you don't know that you need, right? So now let me backtrack because we're all checked in now, right? Now, just before you get to location, there's one small last little sliver of regular society, right? And so once I can say hello to everyone. And we are stopping there. We're getting like last minute ice or something like that. Now, do know they do have ice there, okay? So you're roughing it, but not as much as you might think. So we're in this place, and here's what's awesome, guys. Last year, it was just me that went, okay? And I was there working. I had a booth with Miss Tech, and we'll get back to that. But this year, I was able to bring my wife, my 2 children, my 10-year-old Amante, my 14-month-old Zion, and my mother. I actually flew her up from Arizona and brought her, okay? Because when I say this is a different dimension, guys, this is a place where like every single person is there to help you and to heal you and to care for you. It's this amazing slice of the universe, I swear. Much love to you too, Judith. Thank you for coming tonight. So my whole family, we're not in full-on gear, but you could tell we're festival ready and that we're definitely going to Beloved, right? So as I'm coming out of this store, there's this guy who's by himself, and he looks at me and he goes, "Are you going to Beloved by chance?" And I go, "I am actually. How you doing?" And his name was Vinny, right? Now, Vinny, this was the very beginning, the first step into this realm of real connected people, of real humanity, right? It was amazing. So we start talking a little bit, and this guy drove out, I believe, from California by himself, right? Now, this is the thing, guys. I'm going to tell you this. Until you're comfortable to do that type of journey alone by yourself, I'm going to vote that you have not spent enough time being alone. You haven't spent enough time meditating. You haven't spent enough time with yourself, being used to being excited about spending that time with just yourself. A lot of people that are on this, awakening conscious path will tell you, you lose a lot of people along the way, but I'm telling you, you lose the right people. And it's very, very interesting that as you become more, I guess, in line with just your inner person and content with who that person is, it's very difficult to really get out and venture into these type of places to really find your tribe, your soul family on your own. So Vinny, he took that leap. And as soon as he saw us, I'm telling you guys, it's this interesting thing. He immediately recognized it. And as I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Halo. And I go to extend my hand because, again, guys, I'm used to this 9 to 5 thing. And as soon as I do that, now given he's in just regular clothes and he smiles at my hand, he goes, oh, come on, man, it's Beloved. It comes in and gives me this big, deep hug, right? And in that moment, my entire heart just really got re-broke all over again, and the emotional everything about humans, that the real ones were here all over again. It was absolutely amazing. Alex Fox, no, I have not been to Shasta yet. We drove through it, and I've heard nothing but amazing things. I've just not had the opportunity yet when I can really devote it. But Shasta, I'm sure, is a very, very similar feel to what I'm talking about. And definitely, man, thank you. Gotta go for sure. And so Vinny, all hugs, all smiles, met the whole family within a matter of minutes. And that was it. We drove off the rest of the way to the magical land of Beloved. Now, once we get checked in, they say, hey, you drove past it. And I know that from last year. So, we turn around, we head back up. And as you're coming up this hill, you're really like how these trees and such look behind me. This really is, I'm telling you, this is how it looks. The green becomes almost translucent and gets this weird glow to it. It really does. This energy that's there, right? Like my mom is the cutest thing. As we're driving up, my mom's like, ooh, I think I'm getting kind of wobbly. I don't know what I'm feeling. And shift happens up on this mountain, guys. That is not the only time I heard that week or even last year when I was there. People just, they feel this energy, this connection, not just to each other, but back to the planet and back to who we really are. It's incredible. So as you're pulling up around this corridor, right? Alex, so guys, in the channel, Alex had mentioned that Shasta is the root chakra of the earth and the crown chakra is in the Tibet mountains. Now, Alex, actually, I'm very familiar with that part, but, and maybe we can talk about it on another show on Alchemy 101, but my understanding is that the crown actually was shifted to to Chile a while back. And that was during kind of the 2012 thing when a lot of things shifted. And that's why a lot of people are now going there for spiritual growth. But if enough people are interested, I'd love to do an episode on that some night as well. But yeah, these places of power, these ley lines, and I'm very sure that this location up in the mountains definitely has very powerful energy flying through it. In fact, I'll even talk about something we saw on film up there that was astounding. So as you come around the corner, right, not only do the leaves and the nature and the bushes and really life really begin to become apparent, right, that you're not in Kansas anymore, right? Slowly as you come around, you also start to see the camps of people, right? Now, this is what's crazy. So camps, right? Now, this is what I mean. This is, I wish I had the words for it. So anyone that has seen it, my wife, Jeanette, I know is in the channel. Babe, anything you feel like throwing in for what you saw, please do. There's not enough time to even cover what all this is. But so once you get up here, right, you start seeing on the side of the road little shrines that people have built, right? And we're talking $10,000 Buddha statues that someone just brought from Idaho somewhere or from New Jersey or flew in from India, right? People come from all around the world, thousands of people. And they build this just immaculate shrine and leave it there knowing that the people that are there are just going to respect it. And a lot of times people end up even adding their own blessing or offering to these shrines. So everywhere you go, I would say I easily saw over 120 of these different types of shrines or setups where people are just dropping things off and just really offering a blessing to other people to enjoy. Right now, that being said, again, if you're on Artist First, yeah, I apologize you can't see it, but I do have a line of black paint going across my face, very tribal. Right, this is what we do at the festival. Well, I wore this on purpose because when I talk about blessings and such that they leave along the way, right? We stayed out in a camp called Far Mosque, which is very far away from the main stage because we have our new baby, and he's 14 months. He's done 5 festivals. Now that might sound, I don't know, interesting to some people, but the thing is, when you go to these type of festivals, you meet again real loving people. And I don't know about you, but I grew up in the Midwest, almost 40 years ago, back when you could drive your bike from one town to another when it was safe, when it was a very loving, nurturing environment. So I'm actually more worried about taking my 14-month-old out grocery shopping and the type of people he's going to run into than the type of people I see at the festivals. So the amount of love and appreciation and overall communal parenting that you see at these places, this is a place where every single person should be taking their children. It's a way that you actually interact with other people in a very deep-rooted community environment, not just for the household, but for the entire tribe. It's incredible. So aside from the shrines that you see, right, you see tapestries all along people's camps, right, all over the place. You see books. I'm going to say it again. You see books, like stacks of books outside of people's tents and camps, and candles and solar paneled lighting and butane stoves and just all these very small little things, but hundreds of them. There's an entire village that just comes out of nowhere, and the people that are there are just so friendly. People have different signs up, people offering massage. If you want to come and learn how to make a certain type of cacao drink or have a cacao ceremony, if you want to have tea, there's this amazing gentleman there. Very good friend of mine, and I hope he sees this, named Ranjan, who does tea ceremonies at all these festivals, and such a knowledgeable guy, such a big heart and caring, and I got these amazing cups from him this week, and I absolutely love them. Drinking out of actual crystals, a whole nother thing. Now, speaking of tea, this is just a thing that I've been kind of thinking about, but with Mystech, with Alchemy 101, with the Jedi School, with all these things that are going on, a really good friend of mine is an amazing web designer and kind of brought the idea to me. But you guys let me know what you think. We might actually put together a tea business as well. And we might have like imprinted teaware and teacups, and I'll do a whole tea thing and get that out there because it's a great alternative to coffee and to some other things. So yeah, I think so. I think that's what we'll do. So just you guys let me know what you think. We'll see what happens. But aside from these books that you see at the village, right? Because every morning you wake up to either like a drum ceremony, right? Or you hear people singing. Oh man, guys, the amount of music and harmonious sound that is within this, again, neck of the woods, if you will, is absolutely insane. Okay, Delaney, love you. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for showing up tonight. I'll see you. Blessings. So that was the other thing, guys. Aside from the books, you also see like knitting needles. You see string for different instruments being made. You see instruments everywhere. I mean, every 100 yards that you walk, right? Which is a lot closer than it sounds, I promise. But you come across another person that just is sitting there with, say, a pan flute, and they're just serenading everyone there for an hour for no apparent reason other than just to bless everyone with this beautiful music, right? Or you come across someone with a space drum, right? And they're just playing this beautiful melody for everyone that comes along, and no one's asking for any money or for anything really, any offering. They're there to offer this to you. It's incredible. Now, as you're walking along the pathway of this place, you also are met with different signs along the way that say galactification, and there is no I in privilege, and just all these very small, different little intricate signs to remind you of not only your humanity, but also your divinity and your connection to each other and to the planet. Now, one other thing that I thought was exceptional, and maybe did this last year as well, but I was vending last year, so I didn't get to really experience it. Almost every single artist that goes up, and guys, they have music from about 10 a.m. Until I think 2 or 3 a.m. And I think Saturday night they even go all night. It's crazy, and people are out, and families are out, and really connecting. So every single artist that goes up either begins or ends with a blessing, not just to the crowd, but really to the planet, and to remind us all that we are connected. And this is, again, another reason why I'm such a fan of going to these type of places, because you don't get that in the public anywhere. You know, we all get the idea of we're just going to wait around for somebody else to do it. We wait for someone else to figure out the solution. But here, every single person is in complete unison on taking care of everything, right? So even when you get your food from the different vendors, right? This is just a cool little thing. You have to buy a token, right? And then you trade your token in to get a plate. And when you take your plate, if you don't take it back in to take it in for them to wash it and recycle it, like if you forget it, you lose your token, which costs you money. So if you take the token back, you take your plate back, you get your token back. So it makes sure that you're responsible for your plate, for your trash. Now, when I say that the setup for this is designed that way, so I see a little bit more tea real quick. Let me explain something to you about the people that are designed for this as well. So I've said this, I don't even know how many times. I'm terrible with names, so I apologize. But Saturday, okay, now Saturday is the big day. So what I'm about to tell you guys, this is a huge, huge thing. Saturday, my wife and I get up early and we hike, because it is a hike. Okay, where we're at, we are very far away from everything, but it was an amazing walk and totally worth it. But so in the morning, we go down to go get some morning tea and morning breakfast and see what's out and who's where and what's going on. And first of all, I got to tell you, on the walk down, and I need you guys to understand this, because we can all do better, okay? And please, if you're on the show with me tonight, please do your best to implement this in your regular day-to-day to complete strangers. So I would say it was probably a 20-minute walk from our camp to the main stage, main food area, right? Now, on that walk, I like to track stuff. I like to count. Now, I could be off by 5 or so, I guess. But I estimated almost 251 hellos and or good mornings just on that walk Saturday morning, just going from our camp and going down to the main area. 251 people that made direct eye contact. Hey, you don't understand. When I say direct eye contact, there's this thing they have at a lot of festivals, but at Beloved, you see it everywhere. And it is this eye contact, right? It is the full vulnerability of my soul being bare to whoever wants to look. And when they look back. Guys, there are people that as I was walking by, your eyes lock, and all the way until you're passing each other and you're side by side, that you're looking at each other side by side, really looking for yourself in that person and looking for that connection. And sometimes people smile, and I've seen people sit there and do like a 2 to 5 to 10 minute just eye gazing, and they start crying, and next thing you know, they're laughing, and then they're hugging, and it's a real way to connect with people. And this is one of the things that we're missing out on. So tonight after the show, if you have a loved one, and even me and my wife, it's tricky, guys. It's you get nervous and you get anxious, and it's really, really interesting. But try to just do an eye gaze for 2 to 5 minutes with a loved one, or with all the loved ones in your household, and really see what you meet. And if you do it openly, I'm pretty confident that you'll break down some walls between each other that you didn't know were there, and it will bring you guys closer, right? And it's amazing that you go to a place like this, far away from everything else, where, yes, Judith, you're right, where this beautiful action takes place all day long with complete strangers, right? So as I'm walking down, 251 hellos and good mornings in 20 to 25 minutes. It would take me a year to 2 years to get that, even in Portland, and people are nice in Portland. And guys, how terrible is that? That's what I mean when I said we can all do better. So please, 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 I'm trying to get my family to do the same. More hellos, good mornings, and get up and go do it. Like if you're in the house all day to the afternoon, it's tricky to do that. Get up, go outside, live more life, meet more people, just go to the right places. That's my wife will tell you I don't like to leave the house, and that's why, because you get a taste of something like that, and all of this face representative half-assed version of humanity just doesn't cut it. But we're trying, right? We're doing the work. So, man, that's just the arrival. So once we get to the food place, in the morning, there's so many people that are dancing and frolicking and really just so in love and with the humans that are there, right? And so first thing in the morning, I'd say probably 9, maybe 10 a.m., we get down there, and I see this guy with no shirt on, and he's doing this big, crazy body movement, live interpretation, expressional dance, right? Spinning in circles, love you guys. Who knows what he's on? I don't know. Maybe he was on nothing, but this guy was just he's so into it. It was amazing. And so he gets by one of these little trash tents that they have, right? So again, everything there is intentional. So they have one hole that's for the trash, they have another hole that's for recycle, and they have another hole that's for compost, right? Now this guy was doing his little circle spin, and someone went to throw something into the wrong hole, and I swear you would have thought this guy had someone stomp on his foot or toe or slap him. He freaked out and goes, "Hey, what are you doing, man? You got to be a better human. That one goes into this hole." And for the next, I'm not kidding you, for the next 8 to 9 hours, this man did not leave his post. He was there nonstop. If anyone came near it, he was stopping every single person to make sure that their trash was going into the right location for no reason other than he cared. He just cared that much. He's at this place to meet people, to see people, to go to the workshops, to do the yoga, to do the meditations, to do the magic workshops, all the things that are there. And he was so concerned with making sure that people were putting things in the right place that he gave up his entire day and just stood there all day long. And I know that because we went back and forth to our camp. I don't even know how many times. And every single time he was there, and he was having a great time. He wasn't being mean about it. He was laughing. He was still dancing. And he met so many people just doing this, but just being considerate. And at the end of the night, I actually brought him over a drink, and I gave him a big hug. And I told him how much that I appreciated him and what an amazing work for a human to be doing at such a place. And he was kind of taken aback and kind of confused for a second. And he told me that no one's ever told him thank you for being him before. And it kind of got me emotional even when he said it, but you could see it really struck deep. And when I saw that, I realized what he was doing, and every time I saw him, I was so grateful what he's doing that I just dug in and went even deeper and said, "Man, look, you have been here all day long connecting with these people, making sure they're being responsible, and you've done it for no reason other than you're just trying to be a good human." So I have to imagine that outside of this place that you really care, and you probably don't get the opportunity to express it that way. So if no one's ever told you, I love you for being the human that you are, and thank you so much for being so concerned and so responsible for everyone. The world needs more people like you, and I truly appreciate you. And this guy gave me the biggest heartfelt hug, and we just sat there for a second, that seemed like forever. And it was amazing. And you just saw this transformation happen. And what if we did that everywhere that we went? It was incredible. And this was one person of many, many, many people that I saw and met there. It was Robin, welcome tonight. And Judith, yes, it was awesome. Bear, guys, it was just, I'm telling you, this guy, he really moved me. It was incredible. He was there the entire time. So that's the intro into this type of place. Okay. And guys, this is again the opening walk. This isn't the conversations with the people. This isn't the families you see doing family things. This is a fraction. Oh my gosh, a fraction of what you see at this place. So the attire, again, if you're with me on the show, I'm kind of dressed down comparatively to what you see at this place, but people were in these amazing headdresses and robes that were handmade and these boots and immaculate gloves. And I saw this gentleman that had this huge like wire bird beak that he said his dad, who had passed away, made for him. And he wore it to every festival in honor of his father. It was the last thing that he ever made. And he was talking with my mother and recognized my mom out of nowhere. And they didn't know how they knew each other, but he definitely recognized and they recognized, and there was that immediate connection. And it was just, again, it was one of those things that's really difficult to explain. But when you see the attire, what happens is here in the 9 to 5, it's, dress this way, wear this uniform, do this. So you're given this level of respect, right? This was a thing last year at Beloved, because guys, at this place, if you go and see the pictures, my wife mentioned, if you go on Facebook and look up Beloved, look up my Facebook page, you'll see a bunch of pictures I posted, Instagram, Beloved Festival, any of those things, you'll see what I'm talking about. And you'll totally understand. But the thing is, all these people that are there, I met lawyers and doctors and people that, are out in the program, that are plugged in, but know that this is where the real people are, where the real heart of what you want and what you're looking for is all there. So these people come out in their full version of who they are, right? And this guy's name is not Bob from accounting, right? This is Phoenix Satire, right? And that's his name. It's Phoenix Satire. And he plays the pan flute. And he will sing you a song right now if you'd so love to hear it. And these things are beautiful. And these are these people. And the thing is where I can understand that we can say it's pretend. And this is just a weekend thing and blah, 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 blah. Why do any of these things, guys? The reality that you have is the reality that you choose to acknowledge. Now, there's all sorts of outside forces that will try to correct you or steer that direction, whatever you want. But I'm telling you, living it, you can allow what you want to allow and still just know what guidelines need to be there. So you don't have to be Halo the Wizard, the Alchemist, the Jedi Master just on Thursday nights. Guys, I wear this stuff out Monday through Sunday, okay? And the days in between and dimensions we don't even talk about. You can do these things all the time and you will feel happier. You will feel entertained. You will feel whimsical. But if you can't do it out in the real world, then go to these type of places and get plugged in just to see what it feels like. And when you embrace your full self, right? So Zan, if you are with us tonight, I'm gonna tell this story. Last year at Beloved, I met this wonderful tiny little woman named Zan, right? And you could tell she had a lot of energy, but she was very quiet and maybe even a little timid on some things, but she was going through lots of pain, physically, emotionally, just real pain, like what we all do, right? That's where she was at. And she ended up getting some Mystech stuff, and not a plug, just for the story. And over the couple days of wearing it, she was telling me her pain was gone. She was feeling more alleviated, so on. Well, now here we are a year later, and she told me, and when you see her, she came with this fire and this energy about her. And by the time that I was actually seeing her in her full, she was completely naked at the festival, running around. It was amazing. And she was so free and so liberated, so happy and hugging people and truly healed, excited. And she told me that from what she had been wearing for just a year, that her pain was gone and she got to come dancing and frolicking and expecting and got to really, really enjoy life and had been completely transformed. And coming that way, she was still even more transformed, being more open, more connected, more free, and less judged. And that's the thing, guys, because don't get me wrong, there are definitely a huge plethora of things to do incorrectly and that are wrong and so on and all that. But when you get down to the real morality of good and wrong, right? Right and wrong, good and evil. You know this. This is innate. You don't need religion or spirituality. You know these things. But a lot of times our environment tries to twist and change these things, right? So when you go to places like this where you can be free and you are able to be open and you can connect with people where that's appreciated, you never know who you're going to meet within yourself because it's divine. It really is. It truly is. And it's so free that there's no fear, there's no worry, and there's no judgment. And because of that, it's not just you embracing who you are, it's all the people around you as well, because the herd mentality is a very real thing, guys. So when everyone is scared and timid, then you're going to feel that as well. So us being the workers that we are, being the conscious beings that we are, when we step into that space, it's not something to fight or to ignore, but our job as alchemists is to really take that energy and transmute it into something powerful and something beautiful and re-lead the herd, or the people, if you will, back into the light, back into life, into the excitement, into the love. That's our job. If we all did that, all of these things that we talk about on the show and where they talk about in lots of other shows and places and so on wouldn't be things that are so rare and so different. It would be the norm. So we have to be the ones to help implement that. Okay, that's our job. So we've covered the signs along the way. We've covered the attire. And guys, the attire that you see at these festivals, and especially at Beloved, again, it's not something that you have to wear only there, right? Even if you just take a token or a totem, right? That's why a totem. So something that you got along your travel, something along your journey, that every time you see it, it's that trigger, right? Because at the end of the day, that's really what we are, right? We are this base that waits for a catalyst to come along and create whatever type of trigger that we've programmed ourselves to have. The trick is to figure out how to rewrite that trigger into something positive, into something beneficial, really into something playful is probably the best term that I could use. So find your totem, find something that you can use, something that you can take with you to remind you that you're magic, that you're divine, that you are this powerful, loving being. That's who you are. So, there's a lot of stuff I want to cover with you guys tonight, and we've got about 20 minutes left. So, let's get into this. So, there was a number of people that I saw at the festival from last year, this year. There was a number of people I saw that this was their first year ever being there, right? And then there's a number of people that I spoke with in Portland and Phoenix and the East Coast. You know who you people are, that we talked about going and for some reason was unable to attend. Hi, Anja. Thank you for joining us. Good evening. So this is the thing, guys. If you have not had the ability to go to something like this, okay, and I spoke with a lot of people specifically at Beloved that did this exact thing. So know this. If you don't, go to Starbucks, every day for a week, if you don't do that, that's a good chunk of money just 1 week that you can put aside. And do that a couple weeks throughout the year, and you'll have the money to go to these type of things. Because until you meet and see, guys, I'm telling you, I don't know if my wife is still on the channel because it was her first time really seeing something like this, but even she could tell you, like, until you go and really see the village that I'm talking about, you do not know what's possible and what we're really, really capable of. So that's why it's so important to go. So if you can't afford to go, aside from saving, a lot of these festivals know that they are expensive, but they also know that it does take a village, okay? So what you can do is there's all sorts of ways that you can go and volunteer your time and go for free, right? Because here's the thing. When I go and I vend with Mistech, now I'm stuck at my booth from open to close every single day at the festival. Here's an interesting thing, though. So if you go volunteer, don't feel like you're going to miss out on any part of this experience. Because wherever you are, wherever you're stuck, well, people are going to be coming and going the entire time. So whether you're out amongst the villagers and you're meeting everyone and you're intermingling, or you're at a location where you're volunteering, people are still going to be coming and going and passing by and so on. So all you have to do is figure out a way to get there so you can really meet who you're supposed to be, right? And I say this because if you're, how do I say this? If you're trapped in this program, right? Like consider that like a block of ice. This is your self frozen, right? Until you get into a place where that's going to melt and you're free, you're not really going to know what's in there, right? Does that make sense? So until you get into a place where there is no judgment from yourself also, you're never going to fully know what you're capable of, which ideas you want to run after, which things you want to chase after, because we're consistently looking for other validation from other people. So once you go to a place like this, and irregardless of your name, your title, your attire, whatever that might be, everyone is given the same amount of respect and courtesy and consideration and openness. And so there you can go and become transformed and do those things, right? So one of the guys I met, and I believe I spoke about him from Shock T Festival, right? And it was insane. Anja, it's okay. We all judge ourselves. I'm doing it right now. I look like a crazy person, but it's good. You know, it keeps you progressing. So I think judging to a degree is okay as long as it's not with an expectation, right? Because if you're not judging where you're at, you have no way to judge where you're going. So too much, of course, is going to be too much, but knowing how to do it within freedom. But you know what I mean? Absolutely. Thank you for coming in tonight. Absolutely. So this guy, Stefan, right? Now, Stefan, I believe he's Hawaiian. And everywhere he goes, he has a ukulele everywhere, right? And he just walks along and sits, and he'll just sit down. And next thing you know, his eyes are closed and he is pouring his entire soul out into this entire area, wherever you are, right? And next thing you know, there's an entire group of people that are sitting, just some are looking at him, some are looking off into the trees, some are, who even knows where they're looking, but their presence is very felt and the appreciation is very felt. And so Stefan and his regular travels and his regular day-to-day is Stefan, right? But then you get out into the festivals or you get into the community of love and light and truth, and you get into these places, and now he becomes Don Stefan, right? The musical catalyst. And I added that catalyst to him because every single time I see this guy, there's this transformation, this shift that happens that he brings out in other people around him. And you'll see him talking with someone and then just start laughing uncontrollably for no apparent reason at all. And it's infectious. The next thing you know, everyone's kind of laughing and just everyone's spirits get very, very lifted. And that's his catalyst. That's his magic ability. That's what he does. And I saw him throughout the entire camp, all over the place. Absolutely. Brian, that's perfect. Being attentive to energy isn't judging. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. That's exactly how we said it. That's perfect. So Stefan, interestingly enough, was the name of two different gentlemen that I now, like, I guess, connected with as part of my soul tribe at these festivals. So at Shock T Fest and the Life Expo in LA and the New Life Expo in San Francisco, I run into this other gentleman, very slim, has a very relaxed, prestigious feel about him, very humble in his walk, in his travels, right? His name is also Stefan. And at the Shock T Fest, I remember seeing him leading this opening sunrise ceremony, blessing all these people that are around. And it was so interesting because all the people that are around him, it was about 8 other people aside from myself and him, that was just sitting there. All people I had just met the day before had all come together, and they were all separate, but all together in this moment of this morning ritual. And I thought it was very magical and very synchronistic. And then he was at this festival again with the other Stefan. And so the tribe just kind of all travels all together. Also, when we set up our camp, right? This is so amazing. And hopefully I'll have this guy on my show. As we were very first arriving, we met this gentleman he's been in Portland, I believe, for about 2 weeks. named Frank. Now, if you've met me or if you've seen the show or if you're with me now, you probably notice I'm pretty intense and have pretty high energy. Because of that, generally speaking, the people that I get really excited about are other people that have very high energy and talk fast and are very excited about life, because I know how happy I am, and that's how I see it. This gentleman that I met, Frank, my family and I were talking about him at the entire festival. He was one of the highlights. He was so humble and so quiet, but very present and very kind. And he was always, very gracious when he came to my family, very polite, joined us for tea a couple times, just had amazing conversations about real life and real things and the core of who we are. And I know I've got a new family member, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with him hopefully next week here in Portland. And it was interesting that it was someone we met when we very first got there. And we continually kept running into him over and over and over. The same way we kept running into Vinny. The same way we kept running into Jonah. Jonah is another Soul Tribe member. Him, his wife Yasika, his daughter Zola. We met them, I couldn't even tell you where before, but I recognized meeting him again at the Reggae Festival a few weeks ago that I was at. Talked about that on the show, and they were there as well. And Jonah and I just got to spend a lot of time together and really connected at, Soul Tribe, man. It was amazing. I'm telling you guys, you have to get out to these things. You have to get to these places. I ran into a good friend of mine, Brian, Brian Parker. I wish you could have been there too, man. You got to make it out. You love it. But this other gentleman, Brian, and I keep running into these same people over and over and over. And I know it's because they're following the circuit, but the tribe is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, here's a really exciting thing, guys. Hopefully you have a general idea of the community, of the village, of the layout, of the setup, of all these things. Now, with Alchemy 101, right, this is part of the Order of Alchemy Jedi School I've been working on. 8/18, right? So 8/18, 2018, 1/8 is when the pendants will actually go on sale for the Order of Alchemy. You guys can see them at orderofalchemy.com. They're also imprinted with Mystech stuff, so you can see it at mystech.net. But I mention this because, guys, check this out. Being at that community with those type of people, right, and people that are looking for growth in a multitude of ways and are looking for spirituality. What I did is I took a ton of my lightsabers with me, and Saturday night we offered a Jedi class. Now, guys, if any of you have children, I need to overly stress that you find something similar to this to do with your children, because my 10-year-old Amante, I don't know if there's been a father so proud. So Saturday night, we announced throughout the day from people that we knew and families and kids that we met that we would be doing a Jedi class with aura blades, and we have the full swords that light up and everything. And we had about 27 kids total show up, and 15 different adults show up for probably a 2-hour, almost 3-hour long class, right? It was exceptional. Now, here's the thing, guys, and this is why I say find something like this to do with your child or your children. So my son Amante, he's 10. He practices, I'm not going to say every single day, but he's pretty consistent with his practice of his Jedi training and his meditations and everything. So what I did is I decided to let him, Amante, I want you to teach these guys your routine, walk them through the steps. So he did the entire class, all of it. And I had all these parents coming over and asking me like, wow, how long has your son been teaching? And I told him this is his first class. This is his first time doing it. Now, because I've been so on him as a parent of making sure he's doing something that's fun, but it's also physical, he's learning to meditate. There's a lot of stuff that goes behind this thing. And I've really, as a parent, been very present and very hands-on about it. Then I got him in front of other kids and said, just show them what you've learned and let my hands go. And he nailed this class. We had people signing up. I've had people emailing me, texting me. Anyone that's been trying to get a hold of me for the last week, I apologize. I've still been in Beloved. I've been in festival mode. I'm just barely now getting back. So I'll be following up with those emails. But guys, he was having them spread out. He was having the older kids adjust your hands this way, and he just completely nailed it. And so this is the thing. We can complain about all the things we see in our life, in our society, all these things, but until we cultivate that within our own household, within our children, to have that leadership, that consideration, that politeness. Like, guys, the laser swords, right? The lightsabers, the aura blades. These are big, expensive, amazing-looking toys, and my son was making sure that he was just using a stick as long as another kid could use one as well. So the consideration that goes into all that, the all of it that went into it, guys, it's really what we should be really striving for. So I don't know, just figure out a way to get out there. Go online, look at these videos, look at these pictures, really, really see this, okay? Because when you go to these places, even if it's another friend's house, right, you can cut off everything else out in the outside world. You don't have to worry about all of these exaggerated bullshit things. You don't have to worry about it. Brian, I'm actually planning on having him do a complete video on his own. Thank you. He just wanted to be ready for it. So we talked about doing it tonight. I will let him know that you asked about it. And please know, Brian, that I took your Orgonite with me to Beloved. So it got dipped into those energies, and Beloved got blessed with those energies as well. So thank you so much for that. But guys, you got to do, even if you can't get to these festivals, please take the time to look them up, find out what they offer there, and figure out any way to get a portion of it implemented into your life, right? My struggle is trying to do more yoga. All these things have yoga workshops, have not been able to do it. I'm working on figuring out a way to do a video accountability thing that we can all, get behind each other and really support each other on doing something. I don't know if it'll be an app or what, but there's a lot of new projects that we're working on while we're developing this new version of Alchemist and alchemy and Jedi and really, man, being humans like we should be, guys. It's very, very simple. So if you guys have any questions, please leave a comment in the YouTube channel. If you have any interest in following more, please hit the subscribe button right below. Please share it. We're trying to get out and reach as many people as possible. There's a lot of things I've been working on, and now that the traveling is coming to an end of the year, I'm hopefully going to be having the videos playing behind to just give you guys some more bigger strokes of what we're really talking about and trying to accomplish. Some more ideas. Guys, listen to me. If you have the ability, go back on the video and write this down. Look up Finna Fi Allah, just how it sounds. FINNAHFIALLAH. This is a group that is the heart of Beloved, really. It's these guys that play something called Sufi music. The music is poetry to God, and it is this amazingly tribal. You have no idea what words they're saying, but you know every part of what they're trying to say. And you listen to this, and you go on and you look up the connectivity of what happens at these festivals. You look up about the workshops. I promise you the alchemy that will happen in your life naturally just from implementing a handful of these things. Saying good morning, saying I love you, giving that extra hug, right? And don't let go of your hug until the other person lets go, because you don't know how long they need it, right? Doing these things is going to cultivate your entire life into gold, into happiness, into abundance, love, and into the light, guys. I'm telling you. Please message me at halo.marquise@gmail for any other things you'd like to see on the show. Working on getting some more people on to do some more interviews. I'm sure there's a handful more of things I want to cover with you guys, but I want to give you the last couple minutes. Find your loved one in your house and get some eye gazing at least down the last few minutes of the night, guys. This is Halo, the Jedi Alchemist. I love you guys. Alchemy 101. I will see you next week. Love you guys. Good night.